I'm down to dunk.
And I'm down to dunk.
I'm down to dunk.
This is J-Dub, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lindy Waters, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Mike Muscala, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Jay Will, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Kenneth Williams, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to dunk.
Will you say this is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort?
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
Cracklin Oat Bran?
Have you had Cracklin Oat Bran?
No,
No. Okay.
but it's healthy.
Are you a big oat brand guy?
I'm a big Oat Bran guy.
Okay.
I think I would switch it with Fruity Pebbles.
Okay, eat faster. Don't put as much in the bowl.
You have a gallon of milk I can also take home. You don't have milk at home?
One cinnamon toast.
Okay.
Crunch.
Yeah. Cereal is great. Yeah. Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me, as always, on Monday is my good friend, Michele Berra. Michele, what's up?
Well, as we say, we're here. You don't support friends, you drink it. This is. I mean, it's really lame. Italy didn't qualify for the World Cup, so
Yeah.
it's really terrible. But at least France lost the game, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. You know, it's like being a Thunder fan and just being excited the Rockets lose, you know?
Yeah, even a bit stronger than that.
Yeah.
It's,
I'm sure it's a lot stronger than that.
it's like, yeah. I mean, it's
There's
it's
probably
pure
not a
hate.
good comparison for it.
Yeah, you know, it's pure hate.
Yeah.
There is nothing you can do but
Yeah.
hate.
I didn't hate this, but the Thunder won this game on Saturday night. One that I just thought they are toast. They are buttered toast for these Memphis Grizzlies. And it was a weird game from many standpoints. One, and the main like takeaway from a national perspective is like this Ja story, which is one of the weirder ones ever. I mean, you think about the way that stars talk to officials and the way they get upset about calls. And I mean, if Luka was officiated like that, Luka would have played like 7 minutes this season so far.
Yeah, most likely.
And I don't know what it was that set off the officials so badly that they needed to throw him out of the game. But it seemed highly unnecessary. It seemed insane to me. And I don't know. I mean, I feel a little bit. I mean, I feel for, and I don't feel that bad for Thunder fans that were at the game because one, you got to see a Thunder win. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like you're there to see Ja and Shea and Josh, and you get to see none of them basically because of the officiating. I would have liked to see like a better battle if like Ja could have played, but like the Thunder controlled this game with their shooting. I mean, which is a weird sentence to say. I mean, that's not something that you get to say. You get to say maybe like 4 or 5 times a year, but they took 45 threes, which is a ton for them. Hit 42% of them, 19 of 45, while the Grizzlies were 26% from 3, 12 of 45. This is usually a flip-flopped conversation, but Isaiah Joe really had it going. You got 2 from Lindy. You got 2 from Aaron Wiggins. You got 2 from Trey Mann. You got 2 from Poku. And then you're just kind of on your way. Lou Dort was 3 of 4 from 3.
Yay.
Impressive game.
How about that?
Hey, Dort, for all the Dort haters out there, just go check out this game because he was quite awesome. In 30 minutes, 24 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover. 8 of 14 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, 5 of 8 from the free throw line. You could not have asked much more from Lou against Dort against the Grizzlies.
Like taking less pull-up jumpers from 2?
with Shea
made them.
and out. He
He-
basically took the same amount of shots that he always takes.
Yeah, no, he was very efficient, and I discussed this with Joe, Joe Musato, on Thunder
Not
After
Isaiah Joe.
Dark.
Yeah.
You should, yeah, no, not Isaiah Joe, but close enough. And I mean, you should subscribe there. But we were saying that the fact that he started off by taking very good shots at the beginning of the game was really important. I mean, the majority of the games, Lou find his rhythm sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
Later is what happens when he takes horrible shots to begin with.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was able to take very good wide open threes, one on the wing after a few passes, one in the corner, these are the shots that can put you in rhythm. And taking them early without Shea, I mean, he could have just decided to take over the game, and he didn't. He did it late, which is kind of expected in a situation like this one. And then you mentioned Isaiah Joe. I mean, it was basically a 2 games slump for him. He was not shooting the ball particularly well, and he immediately said it right. It's impressive how different it is when Joe hits a shot, because it's totally a different way in which the defense guards OKC. And regarding the threes, and then I'll stop because I'm talking too much. It's the game to game progression in terms of attacking Memphis's defense is impressive. I mean, the fact that they said, okay, no more exaggerating driving to the basket. Just let's try to bail them out a little bit, and try to stretch the defense, because otherwise we will not have a good game against them, especially without Shea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was spread the ball around. We're going to try to find threes. Gosh, I just continue to be super impressed with Isaiah Joe. I mean, I don't know if he's somebody that lasts through this rebuild. A lot of these guys aren't going to make it to the other side. We're talking about climbing the next mountain. But the way that he has fought to get through this rotation to kind of spring to the top, where it's like, hey, we don't have Shea, we don't have Giddey. Who are we going to bring into the lineup? And they decide, like, we got to start Isaiah Joe, over a guy like Trey Mann, who had a ton of hype going into the season, who played really well in preseason and at the beginning of the season. And you were kind of preparing yourselves for, okay, well, there's could be a 6-man type of candidate with what he could do off the bench. And he has disappeared so much that now he's in the G League. And we can talk about that a little bit later. But Isaiah Joe is hitting shots. He's playing really well. The plus minus stuff is out of control. He looks like an NBA role player. He's not a good defender by any stretch, but he's not a sieve. There's a lot to like about Isaiah Joe. He's not, and he can take some side steps. He can take a dribble here and there. He can do a little bit of stuff. And if you just have a spot up shooter off the bench that can hit lights out and not get absolutely torched, like, that's a player. That's one that you kind of want to hang on to.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was fooling around with plus minus numbers, which are quite dangerous and not really reliable. It's too little of a sample size, and one should not indulge into such games. But I want to do it anyway. And Joe and Shea are just insane.
Yeah.
But more insane on a very narrow sample size is Joe and Wiggins. And
yeah,
I mean,
I've seen these.
Yeah, at some point, again, this will kind of revert to the mean to some degree, but also these numbers are telling you, hey, don't mess around with dribbling too much, with having questionable shooters. Just put someone that can hit a shot and make good enough reads on offense. I'm not saying, hey, just take someone who is parked in the corner. This is not what Isaiah Joe is, nor what Wiggins is.
No,
These
no.
are guys that don't use dribbles to play. But whenever you put either Wiggins or Joe with Shea, you have a good enough sample size, and this is quite a good team. I'm looking at Cleaning the Glass now, 735 possessions for Shea with either or both Aaron Wiggins or Isaiah or Isaiah Joe.
Mhm.
This is +8 in net rating. This
For sure.
sounds like a plan. And I know that whenever you face an advanced defense, this is not enough. So you really need a different look here and there. But I think that the more this team progresses, the more you will see Shea closing the first quarter with these kind of lineups. And then you see Giddey with these kind of lineups. And then you hope that when Chet is back, Giddey, Chet, and Shea plus J-Dub, Dort, whatever, is a good enough lineup in terms of talent that even if the fit is not perfect, you have so many other things going on that it will work.
Yeah. Again, this is a pretty impressive pickup for the Thunder to just the Sixers cut him before the season. It happens. It happened to a lot of players.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we just are constantly wanting the Thunder to have shooting, and it seems like they found a guy that can really shoot it. And he may have pushed Trey Mann out of a job at the end of the day. You know, it looks like that now. Things can change rapidly in the NBA, so I wouldn't jump to that conclusion fully yet. We don't know what it's going to look like, you know, come April, May, or even next fall. Like, what does it look like? Maybe Trey Mann goes really hard in the gym over the course of the summer and becomes like a really good player and like starts to put it together. You just don't know. These guys are all so young, but you at least know that you have a guy that can really shoot it with Isaiah. And I think that he's somebody that's could stick around. He may be out too. It could be the case that Joe and Trey Mann are just out because they're going to have too many guys at the end of the day, or they make a trade for somebody, or who knows. But just to have options that are available to you and guys that are rising. And Sam talked a little bit about this at his the presser after the season. Just like guys are going to have to fight for their position on this team. Like there's no just here's minutes. You can just have them. Like that time is over. It's completely over. And just because you were selected in the first round doesn't mean that you're actually going to get a shot if you aren't playing well. If you're not playing well, you might get sent to the G League like Trey. I wouldn't have guessed that Trey would be with the G League this year. I would not have predicted that. You know, if I were to predict somebody that's on the roster actually going to the G League, like I would have probably predicted Poku would have done it before Trey.
Or even J-Dub. Like like before summer league, or even like after summer league, it's not out of the question that if J-Dub starts the season with shooting 32% from the field, 20% from three, then maybe you spend a week or two down there just to find time to practice to put up shots. Trey Mann is he had so far had a very difficult season. I mean, he started off really well.
Yeah, he did.
And then after the back injury, it seems that everything is collapsed in his world. I mean, in his world. Joe is taking the minutes. He's not leaving anything on the floor. Like he's there is very little that you can question with Isaiah Joe in comparison to Trey Mann. He's shooting lights out. I mean, even when the volume is higher for him, the percentage don't suffer too much.
45%, 45.8% from three, 55% from two.
Yeah, and good for the line from the line as well.
Yeah, 66 effective field goal, which is like by far the highest on the team.
Yeah, like what else he can do? And what do? You just don't play him? Because this will probably be the highest point in terms of percentage. I don't expect him to be a 45% 3-point shooter for the rest of his career. But he seems to me a guy that can shoot easily above 40 or around 40
Mm-hmm.
because the shot looks so good when it
Yeah.
comes out of his hands that you kind of trust it to
Yeah.
go in. And the last two games, the games against Minnesota and the Heat, when the shot didn't go in, I mean, you felt like, hey, OKC is missing something here. So he's really already part of what makes OKC going well on a basketball court, which is insane. And back on men, I mean, I don't know why he's shooting so poorly, but it is happening. So something has to be done. And now is a time where you can still use the G League without demoting the guy too much. I mean, Ludort can't go to the G League. I mean, that can't happen. Even Poku, to me, is hard in year 3 to send a guy to the G League. It's just, hey,
Yeah.
you're going there because
Well, he's played well enough to where he doesn't really need to. And
yes,
he'll have bad games, he'll have good games, but like that's the case with like almost every young player that's like a role player, which is
Mhm.
kind of where Poku is headed as long as he can continue to get stronger. Yeah, I mean that's okay. But if you're Trey and it looks like, oh no, like you're in like a slump that's lasted weeks, it's like, okay, they said it was pre-planned. I'll take them at their word for that, but I wonder a little bit, like if he's hot and he's averaging like 15 points per game, playing really well, shooting the ball really well, is he really going to the G League? Like maybe this is
no,
maybe last week, you know?
yeah. The since when it was planned is a big question to me.
They
Like,
planned it earlier that day. Hey, we planned for this.
yeah,
Just,
or even we planned for this
you know,
after the injury in the back. We said, okay, if it works out, you play with the grown-ups. If you don't feel well enough, then we'll put you in a low pressure environment where you can hit up 15 shots in a game and just cook there so that you can find your rhythm, because this injury can be nagging and we want you to have time and no pressure.
Yeah. I will be monitoring the shot attempts. I don't really care the percentage. I don't really care anything about anything else, but shot attempts. Like,
Yeah.
what's he doing down there? Because
22 shots per game.
he better. I mean, seriously, this is more about confidence than it is about anything else with Trey.
Yeah.
Because he is visibly not confident on the court. And you can see, because it felt like earlier in the season and toward the end of last season that you could just see the confidence that he was playing with on the court. And now when he shoots it, it's not an exact science, but you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's not going in.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even look like he believes it, that it's going to go in. And so he's got to go find his confidence. And if he can go down to the G League and just torch guys, I mean, if you are who we thought Trey was, which is like a really good scorer off the bench, that could be like a Jordan Clarkson type of guy. You send Jordan Clarkson to the G League, Jordan Clarkson would average 40.
Possibly.
No, he would. He would absolutely torch those guys.
Yeah.
Because the difference between Jordan Clarkson and a G League player is a giant gap. A giant gap. And Trey needs to go prove that he is not necessarily 40 a game, but like you got to put up 25 a game. You got to put up 30 a game in the G League with high volume, because that's the kind of player you are. That's the kind of player that Trey is. Trey is not Isaiah Joe. Isaiah Joe could go to the G League and kind of blend in and hit a high percentage of threes and just help the spacing on the court. That's what he does. Trey is a different kind of player.
Yeah.
He needs to go torch the G League. Like that's what I want to see. If you were to guess, Shea's number 1, Giddey's number 2, Lou is number 3 in total shot attempts. Where do you think Trey Mann falls on that list?
Total amount?
Total shots, total field goal attempts on the season.
Yeah. I think J-Dub is above him.
Okay.
I think Poku is not above him, but close. Kenrich is below. It's probably 7th or 8th.
He is 4th in shot
4th?
attempts.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow.
231 field goal attempts this season.
Oh, wow.
That does not match my, if I were to examine my Thunder feelings in my chest, it doesn't
Wow.
match that at all. It feels kind of strange, but he is 4th in shot attempts on the team. And it doesn't feel that way at all. He's shooting 38% from the field. He has felt invisible for the most part in the last several games. He is somebody that goes out on the court. He'll make like on Friday night, he had like a nice pass. Like, oh, that's good. And he played decent against the Grizzlies, but for the most part, like, he just feels invisible out there. Like and so much
It's
of
not
that
loud.
just feels like his confidence. Like last year, like Trey Mann made sure that you noticed him with the way that he played and the way he took shots. And now it's like, I mean, he went from the beginning of December until now, scored in double digits twice.
Yeah.
I mean, we're almost 20 days into December, scored in double digits twice. Once against Memphis. Both games are against Memphis, oddly enough.
Yeah. I mean, my bold prediction of him.
Points, and then 11 points on Saturday night in 18 minutes.
Yeah, that's bad. It's sad. A bit sad. Not crazy sad. But again, back to the point that you were making a couple of minutes ago. This is a team that will have the always compete mentality. Since I said this sentence, the Seahawks lost every game. So I jinxed it quite a lot. And I will probably do the same.
You're trying to jinx the Thunder? You're trying to get them better draft positioning here?
No, but it's a nice byproduct.
Yeah. I mean, with the Isaiah Joe thing, I mean, you always look at teams like the Heat and how they just find guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Thunder, with the amount that they use the G League and the amount that they're kind of shuffling through guys, like they're just bound to find guys.
Yeah.
The Heat are like the experts at it. Like they're just unbelievable. Like Caleb Martin is like legitimately a really good player. He's playing a ton this year.
I don't know about the Heat having good players. Let me put some context, because I know that this sounds very weird. There are teams that brew players that are great wherever they go.
Yeah.
The Heat are good at brewing players that look amazing in their jersey.
Sure.
And crap when they move away.
Sure.
Like
what if the Thunder become a team like that too? Because I do think that Mark Daigneault and what he does makes guys look really good. It makes players look really good, and the style of play and the willingness, and it all starts with Shea. It's like this like top-down trickle effect thing.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander that trickles down, and it allows guys like Isaiah Joe to be good.
Like Moses Brown.
Hey, I'm being serious because you're right in that the Heat find guys that look really good in their system, and like, are we confident Max Strus could go play for the Timberwolves and be a player that's successful? Like, how confident are we that he could do that? How confident are we that Gabe Vincent, who's played really well for them this year, could go and play for the Knicks?
Yeah.
And play for them. Like I don't know. I think there's definitely something to that. You know, even Duncan Robinson, who's like can't even play for the Heat right now.
Yeah, he's a crazy shooter though. Duncan Robinson is elite shooter. The point is probably is not.
He's an elite shooter that can't shoot right now. He's 32% on the season.
I don't know what happened to him, but
I don't either. Cause he started a podcast and then he's done. You know, got a little bit too big for his britches, I guess. I don't know. But that's to say that I feel like this system allows for guys to shine a little bit because you get to touch the basketball.
Yes.
You get to touch the ball. And that is such a big deal because the truth is all 400 plus guys that are going to play in the NBA this year are really, really good at basketball. All of them.
Yeah.
Every single one. If you saw any of them in a gym, you would be like, wow, that is the best basketball player I've ever seen play.
Even Theo Maledon?
Even Theo Maledon. Actually,
Okay.
I don't know. All 399 players that play in the league, except for Theo Maledon. I'm just kidding.
Even Thanasis Antetokounmpo?
He got waived, right?
Did he? Oh, nice.
So these guys are unbelievable at basketball. And so, thank you. If you give them a chance to shine and find ways for them to work within your offense, like chances are like some of these guys that are just like no names are going to thrive at some point. I think Mark is really good. I've been trying to talk to a lot of people that kind of come through Oklahoma City about Mark, and even guys that I'll get on a podcast or whatever with people across the country and just like, hey, what do you think of Mark Daigneault?
Yeah.
You'd be hard pressed to find somebody that's like, yeah, I don't know if he's very good. Like everybody's like, actually, I think he's really good because he's doing this and this and this. And, I sit in a seat that, one, it's ridiculous because I'm, excuse me, really close to the court. But also, like, I'm sitting right next to scouts. And I just I'll just lean over and just ask them questions. Like, what do you think of this player? What do you think of that player? What do you think of this team? What do you think's going on here? And I'll just say, what do you think of Mark? Yeah. And almost all of them are like, he's really good. Like, I really like the stuff he runs. I like the guys actually play for him. They play really hard. You can tell, like, by the way that
part you can tell.
Yeah.
From even from like, I don't know how many miles away. Sometimes watching on a tiny screen, depending on how much the League Pass app helped me. But it's that part is never in doubt. And even the guys who are not steadily in their rotations, it's not that they step in the court with a bad demeanor. Like even Trey Mann, who is not having the greatest results, I think that he's trying to make plays on defense.
They all stay ready. Like they want to play for him. And that is not the case across the league. You can tell like half of the Knicks, even though they're playing really well, don't want to play for Tibbs. And you
can tell that 13 out of, or probably 14 out of 15 player in Minnesota don't want to play with Rudy Gobert. Sorry, I had to say this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had some conversations with the scout about the Timberwolves. It's not good.
Hating on friends is something that I have to do today, and then I'll behave next Monday.
Yeah, no, nobody wants to play with Rudy. This is a bad trade. The Timberwolves are in big trouble. They're, one of the worst situations in the league right now, honestly, and their talent level is actually pretty good.
Yeah, but what do you do there? Like, what is your move? Like, can you move Cat?
Yes, I move Cat.
And what do you get for Cat?
I don't care.
What is your lowest level of saying, okay, I'm pulling the trigger on it?
Lottery protected first. Just get him out of here.
Whoa!
Who cares?
That is
reset. Get him out of there.
Very low.
You just gotta eject everybody out of there and just start with Edwards.
Oh. Okay.
But they've messed up so bad though, Michele.
Mm-hmm.
Because they traded their own picks to get Rudy. They messed up so bad. So bad.
Yeah.
They're in such big trouble.
Is this why the Jazz are winning? Careless winning? Because they know for sure that
celebrate that they're going to get the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
3 years in a row because the T-Wolves stink.
Yeah,
Probably.
that's
Just think like you could have a redo, and you did not have to do. Didn't have to do the Gobert trade. I still think you should trade Towns, like trade him to the Lakers or to the Knicks or whatever dumb team wants to take that guy on. He's got a huge extension coming. Trade him, get him out of there, and just start from scratch with Edwards. You can keep Pat Bev, you can keep Vanderbilt. Like you just have this like hustle, switchy team around Edwards. Let Edwards go get his. Let Edwards go try to get 40 every night. And you just stink. You get a high pick in this next draft. You add that to Edwards.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done, and build slowly. Just take your time.
But Andrew, I mean, you missed the playoffs for so long. Did you have to pull the trigger?
Last year, yeah.
You have to, and you have to pull it not for a guy that really fits with Edwards. Like,
yeah,
even DeJounte Murray, it's a better fit. Like, and
yeah, the Hawks are a whole other story too.
Yeah, but
complete mess.
Like, I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess.
Let's take a quick break, and then we will talk about the current injury report and what to expect against the Portland Trailblazers tonight, right after this. And we're back after that quick break. Winskill 1969. I do know about the World Cup final. I do know about that. He says that we all know why Mikey's hating on France, even if Andrew doesn't. I do. I know. I'm typically only aware of like 3 things in my life. It's like the NBA, different brands of cereal changing, and then my family. That's usually about it. But no, I do know about the World Cup final.
Yeah. And this is not a turtleneck. Is I don't know.
It's a zip.
It's a zip.
A zip up turtleneck. It's a turtleneck. Zipped up. Yes.
Yeah. Probably. It's
it's Purdue.
Purdue.
Yeah, Boilermakers. Nice.
Yeah, Boilermaker. Yes. Nice. The first day I was there, it was a football game, and everyone was saying "Boiler up, boiler up." I said, "What is happening here?" I had no idea. I didn't make my homework, so I just said, "Okay."
Oh my gosh. The injury report is extensive. Oh, Joshua Cable says it's called a quarter zip.
Okay.
Quarter zip. All right.
I need to talk about Kenrich, but go ahead with the injury report.
Yeah. Darius Baisley is out with a non-COVID illness. So is Josh. Usman Jang is out with a small, non-displaced fracture in his right wrist, which is not ideal.
Shay's non-displaced and small.
Yeah. Great.
Can you imagine a big displaced fracture? That is quite bad.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
Messy.
Could be much worse.
Yes.
Shea has been upgraded to questionable with a lower back contusion. You could tell by the way he was moving in games before that. Like he would lay on his back for a long time before getting up a lot. Mm-hmm. And then when he gets up, you can just see him kind of moving like an old man. You're like, oh, that's not good. Shea, you may sit and should sit tonight against the Blazers. It's okay. You get to play them again this week, so don't sweat it. Trey Mann at the G League. Jeremiah is out with an impressive right ankle sprain. And then Jay Will is with the G League as well. So I kind of feel like they could use Jay Will. I kind of like seeing him figure out the NBA game a little bit, with his passing. And he hit a 3 the other night. That was nice. I think that was his first NBA 3.
Yeah, that was not expected.
He'll take him.
It looks funky when he takes it, but he went in.
That's what he did at Arkansas, man. That's what he did.
Yeah.
Maybe the Thunder are just collecting players from Arkansas. Maybe
this is the new strategy. Kentucky and Arkansas. That's it.
Hey, there's some good players at Arkansas. The Arkansas team this year is really, really fun.
Yeah.
Yanni says, Andrew, what are you going to do when Presti gets Cat to OKC and goes on a monologue about his great character? I'm going to lose my mind is what I'm going to do. If that is, I will bet. I don't know what I need to bet. but I will bet any amount of anything that will
Like
not happen.
5 pepperoni pizzas?
50 pepperoni pizzas.
50.
50
Wow.
pizzas. How about, let's say 52 pizzas? I'll send you a pizza every single week on me for a year if the Thunder trade for Towns. I'll do it. That guy is a known loser. Big time,
It's a bit
capital
better of
L
TJ Warren
loser.
compared to TJ Warren, but not so much.
Oh, he may have surpassed CJ Warren
Wow.
just because he's so much more talented than Warren is,
Yeah.
and like could actually be a winning player.
Yeah.
But no. Joshua Cable says 50 boxes of Cracklin' Oat Bran. I'll buy 52 boxes of Oat Bran. I'll make you a big Oat Bran guy.
You know what, big guy?
I would do it. Yeah, I don't think that's ever happening. They should not do it. If they do it, I will down to done. I will stop podcasting altogether.
No, don't say it.
Yeah, I'd be done.
No,
I'd be
maybe
done.
maybe
If
this
I
is
have to talk about Karl Anthony Towns on a night-to-night basis. Like, get me out of here.
yeah, but it depends on the price.
It does
depends on
not.
the price.
It does not.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it does.
Nope. It does not.
Yes,
It doesn't.
because you can get it can be a redemption project when he's under
Nope.
the bus. He
Nope.
was traded for a first-round pick to a protected first-round pick for Russell Westbrook to the Lakers. He goes there. He has a terrible season, and then he realizes in the future that he has to really care in order to win. And he calls Preston and says, "Hey, I'm gonna come to be your bench big man." And do
The
you
only
want to
way-
stop
the only way I-
podcasting?
The only way I
If-
want Cat on this team is if he gets into a terrible accident and loses and becomes mute. And then, yes, bring him on.
You're so mean. It's almost
Mean.
Christmas. You should be I mean, I don't know, full of joy, even for a cat.
Okay, well let's talk about Kenrich then, so we can get off this cat.
He was one of my favorite prospects to
He was
scout.
awesome. He was awesome at Kentucky. He's awesome.
Yeah,
He was awesome his first 2 years in the league too. He actually played defense.
yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
Kenrich.
He came back.
Of,
He played in this game. Played so well, man. He's
I
just
just love him.
that game cemented the fact that they are not trading Kenrich Williams. It is not happening. I wouldn't trade if you offered Kenrich for Cat straight up. I'd say no. You have to attach like 7 first-round picks to Cat to get Kenrich for Cat. Not happening.
You can really see that Kenrich is the guy when he's in the court. Everybody
doubt.
listens to him. It's
Yeah.
like your older brother that I never had one, but let's pretend I did.
Me neither.
That like tells you what to do at any point
Yeah.
when you go out. Like it's the guy that yells at you when you're acting dumb. It's the man. And he just do whatever he has to do on offense. The shots that he takes, sometimes you can say, why is he taking a long mid-range jumper? And if you look at what else is around, that is the right shot to take. I mean, I would like him to do a step backwards and take a 3 instead of the mid-range jumper. But this is about the only thing that I have to say on Kenrich. Please don't take like very long 2s. Just do a step and take a 3, because everything else, it's incredible. I mean, he fights every single possession. And I was listening to the Dream Team show that you did last week, I think, saying if like pick a starting unit to win a game, and Kenrich has to be in there.
Ooh, let's play that game. Let's play that game. This is Gideon Hamilton from the Sports Animal. Had me on his show 2 weeks ago, last week. I don't remember when. 2 weeks ago. And he said if you had to win one quarter and you had to pick 5 guys to win one quarter of basketball, which Thunder players would you pick? Who would you pick, Michele?
Today, my team is probably going to be very weird. And it's Shea, Joe, Kenrich, Wiggins, Giddy.
Giddy. Oh, that is very weird.
Yeah.
Can they defend?
Yes. Well enough.
Okay.
No, not at all. But it will be good enough in my head. I mean, I don't see J-Dub as a plus defender right now. I know that Dignall says that he's a great defender. I think that he can be. I think that he has all the instincts to be, but
Got a ways to go.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, you can have Jade up there instead of Giddy, but I kind of want Joe for his spacing and the two multi-tool wings to be exceptional. I have a job and I will do it kind of players.
Yeah. Kenrich is, I mean, he was one of the guys I picked. I think that day I picked SGA, J-Dub, Wiggins, Kenrich, Jeremiah. That's the group I picked. Just like tough-nosed guys, and then and I think I probably would flip-flop Giddy for J-Dub right now, with just the way that they're shooting the three ball. I mean, Giddy's shooting the three ball a lot better than J-Dub this season.
Yeah.
You just think of J-Dub as a better shooter than Giddy. He just flat out has not been this season. I mean, you look at the percentages, it's not like either of them are like, it's not like Giddy's like shooting the lights out, but he's like 32% from three on 82 shots. And then you look at J-Dub. I mean, he's essentially the worst on the team from three this season at 27%, 27.7.
Yeah, this is something that I'm trying to understand about his plus minus.
Yeah.
It's not working. And I don't think that this is a fluke. I do think that the lineups that he plays on are lineups where he can't really be effective. I think that lineups with him on as the point guard and spacing and maybe Giddy are lineups that can work because he likes to play in a fast, free-flowing offense. He's very bad when he has to be just a spacer for Shea, and when it's transition kind of basketball. When the pace goes too high, I don't think that he's capable of keeping up on both ends. So I think that the style of play that OKC has with a certain unit, which is not spaced out and there's a lot of dribbling, mostly with Shea, it's not working for him right now. And again, on defense, for some reason, it's not working. It's mostly about the three ball going in to a very high degree when it's on the court, which is difficult to understand. Like, I don't know why J-Dub is on the court. The opponents are shooting well. That is probably a little bit random and probably a little bit on him.
Yeah. He just has to shoot the ball better. I mean, just like plain and simple. But like all the other stuff he does is like it's still very impressive, and I still think he's going to be a very, very good NBA player. Like lucky for him, there's a really good shooting coach already on this as a part of this organization. So, and just some work. I mean, you just have to remember, like rookies, it takes time. It's a hard league, and I mean, look at Wiggins as a guy that really improved from year one to year two with his shot. Yeah, his shot looked really, really good in summer league. You're like, oh, okay, he looks like a different player. He looks like he's actually improved quite a bit. You know, he's shooting 39%. It's not on a crazy volume.
But no, that's the thing that we have to keep monitoring going forward, because the amount it's not big, but it's going in for sure.
It's going in. Yeah. I think you have to be very happy with that. And, you know, I think you got to leave room for improvement with him and with really everybody else on the team too. I mean, I don't think you can bury anybody. I mean, look what Poku's done. I mean, like, you can't. That's like a great story on like why you shouldn't just completely bury somebody and like saying, oh, well, they'll never get better at this and they'll never get better at that. Like Poku's defying odds this season by shooting 38% from three so far. You know, he's been very, very good. And he's got, Poku's got a long way to go. Poku's just like flat out has to get stronger. You can see it in a lot of games where he's just getting pushed around a lot. And some of that getting Chet and him maybe playing more power forward will help. But he still had just like flat out has to get stronger for him to make it, like truly make it in this league and become the kind of player that we have like fantasized about him becoming. Like if he wants to be a player that climbs the second mountain, like he's got to get stronger. Like he just flat out has to. Because there's going to be guys. I mean, if the Thunder draft a power forward in this next draft, there's a lot of guys that will be available in this next draft. And that's what they get. Poku's not guaranteed anything.
No.
Because I think Kenrich will be a guy that makes it, and if Kenrich makes it and you draft a starting four, then like what? There's not a ton of minutes there because I think J-Dub will play. I think J-Dub was going to make it, by the way. I think Wiggins could make it. Like J-Dub and Wiggins are guys that can play on the wing and steal minutes at 4.
Yeah.
So like as much fun as Poku has been, like the pressure's on Poku to continue to improve. And it's not just with the shot, which has been he's been awesome this year, but he has got to get stronger in order to make it to like the next round of Thunder, where even Josh will steal minutes at 4 as well. So you just can't, there's just not, I don't know. This season is just such an interesting one because I don't know how much it determines a whole lot. I think that once you get Chet in here and whoever they get in this next draft, then it's going to be like, okay, now which of you is going to fit around these guys and Shea?
Yeah.
Which of you can plug the holes left by Shea, Chet, Giddey, and whoever it is they're picking the draft this next year? Who is it that steps up? Like I can see Kenrich doing it. I mean, Isaiah Joe obviously fills a role. I mean, David Wells in the chat, Usman Jang. Like, what does Usman Jang look like in year 2? Does he break his wrist twice in 3 months in year 2? I don't know.
Yeah.
But does he show up and shoot the ball like crazy? Like, yeah, he can fill that 4 spot too. So like as much as like we've loved what Poku's done, like Poku's not guaranteed a thing. Like neither is Jang. Neither is Trey Mann, or even like we talk highly of J-Dub and really believe in his trajectory. He's not promised anything. Like the only guys that you like really, that I really believe that like are cemented, these guys are climbing the next mountain, is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey.
Yeah, and you can say that for sure, just one. But anyway, probably at least the 2.
Josh has been great.
Josh has been great. But before we move on and talk about all the great things that Josh did, do you want to play a trivia?
Always.
I had this on the back of my mind. I went up and look on Clean the Glass about which players are affected the most on opponents shooting very well from 3.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name the bottom 4 in allowed percentage? Like it's Clean the Glass says basically, if you go and look at opponent shooting accuracy, if it's a plus, it's bad. If it's a minus, it's very good. For reference, Kenrich Williams is the best at lowering the percentage from 3 on the opponents at -7.7. Okay, for all 3s. Can you name the worst players for OKC and guess how much the opponents are shooting better with them on the court?
I feel like this is a chance for you to hate on Dort. So is
No,
Dort
it's almost Dort is
a wash?
plus 0.8, so it's really nothing.
Okay. Let's see. Is J-Dub pretty low?
J-Dub is plus 1.1. He is fifth, and in general, he's not good at in for effective field goal in general. So
Mhm.
yes, he's one of them.
Is Poku up there?
Poku is third at plus 6.7.
Yeah, that's bad.
Mm-hmm. It's
What about
second. Sorry, not
what
third.
about-
Second.
What about Josh?
Josh is third at plus 6.4.
Also very bad.
Very bad, indeed.
Trey?
No, Trey is quite good. You have to think about the plus minus. It's almost explained by just this. This is a big hint. There's a guy who had bad plus minus from the start of the season, and he didn't match the eye test. And he plays.
I've already said Poku and J-Dub.
Yeah.
And Giddy.
The third one was
Jeremiah?
Yes, plus 7.4.
Whoa!
So basically,
oh!
and then there is Shea at
Where's
plus
Shea at?
2.4. So basically, whenever the starting unit has Josh and either JRE or Poku and Shea and maybe J-Dub, these lineups are allowing trees, open trees. To me, it's about rotating to a certain degree. And in general, it's a bit of them being unlucky and playing against better players. But there is something there, I think. So, yes, to some degree, what J-Dub is experiencing in plus minus is not the entire story, but there is a story to be told there about certain units for OKC allowing a lot of threes. I mean, if you think about 35 threes and you have 7.3% more, it's 7 times 3 is almost 2 threes more per game going in. It's 6 points. It's not nothing.
It's a lot.
Like and Kenrich on the opposite, Kenrich and Isaiah Joe and Usman Jang and Darius Baisley are all on the minus, heavy minus. Are they rotating better? Probably a bit. And also have
missing
lesser competitions.
I mean, also some of it is just like make or miss.
Yeah.
Like
there is randomness in this.
Yeah, there's that's what's tough about it. Is like how can you control for the randomness that occurs? In these. I don't know.
I think that there is a way to quantify this in terms of if it's random or not. It has to do with shot quality and the fact that you have to measure that to like at least a bit in order to understand if this is fluky or not. But there are tendencies like JRE and Shea were not good last year as well. And Kenrich was extremely good last year as well. So, but Giddy was better because probably he was playing in different lineups more with Kenny. And I mean, to me, there is something to be at least discussed there. And maybe it's just silly, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I find it interesting.
That is very interesting. Josh is out tonight with a non-COVID illness. Maybe he and Baisley have the same illness. I don't know. It seems possible. But before that, he's played in 9 of the last 10 games for the Thunder and played really well, averaging 14 points per game, 9.8 boards, 5 assists, shooting 44% from the field, 41% from 3, 90% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
The shots are starting to go down for Josh. And he's shooting 3 threes a game at 41%. Like, that's great. It's an unsustainable number, but it's great to see that that's even possible, like in a pocket of the season, that Josh can actually do that. And he's affecting the game, like the almost 10 boards a game. And there's not anybody that's like eating rebounds on this team. And so like he kind of takes it upon himself to do that. Like he's an elite rebounder for his position. And the shot is coming along. You can see that it just looks better coming out of his hands. And you have to really give him credit for that. And so first of all, get well soon, Josh. I hope that he gets well soon and can play toward the end of this week, especially against the Pelicans. Like I hope that we can get close to a full squad against the Pelicans, because like that's a really good measuring stick as to where you are. Not that the Blazers aren't. The Blazers are good too. The Blazers might be without Jeremy Grant tonight, which is a pretty big deal. He's been amazing for them this season.
Yeah.
But if they can get healthy and the Pelicans are healthy, that should be a pretty fun game. That's on Friday of this week. But Josh Giddey, who started the season kind of shakily, probably at best, has started to really figure things out. And if this is the kind of player that he is, like when Chet comes back and maybe you get another weapon where he's just somebody who is filling the gaps, hitting spot up shots, rebounding. I mean, I just think about the way he played down the stretch of that Boston game still. Like that's one of the games that just like is cemented in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Where Josh was just like rebounding like a maniac, finding open guys, playing hard defense. It's like, man, like, yeah, this is it. Like, that's it, and can play point guard, can play wherever you need him to play. If he needs to spot up, he can spot up. If he needs to handle and find shots, he can do that. It's the versatility of a guy like Josh. It's like, man, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think that he's the one who's sacrificing the most in terms of, well, I don't know about the most, but quite a lot about the way in which he wants to play. Because it's clear that he wants to play in a different setting.
Yeah.
When he's the guy who moves around and just orchestrate the offense. This is not what he's doing right now.
Right.
He's spotting up, is finding part of the game to be impactful. And this is a huge credit to him, because again, he's not playing the role he excels on, which is playing in space, playing with pace, playing with an orchestra basically, and not the pounding kind of basketball, which is what Shea prefers to do. And credit to Shea. I mean, it's you can't say much. Like, he's excellent in anything he does on the court. Shea is. And so I don't want to take away anything from him, but I'm realizing now that, and I want to realize that Giddey is playing not the role that he likes, and he's trying whatever he can to be successful. You mentioned the Boston game, but there were moments in games where he was playing hard defense. I don't remember against whom he had that block. He just swatted the ball away from a very good player. I don't remember who. And I mean, he's trying to compete. For him, playing defense, playing switch defense, it's not easy. He doesn't cover ground very well, but he's doing a lot to be at least passable on that end, and even more. So, I mean, I really like Giddey. He's improving. He's still one of the youngest players in the league. Yeah. This is something that we have to just think about every single time we mention Giddey. He's younger than Chet Holmgren, I think, or close to the same age. I think he's younger.
Yeah, I believe he is younger, because he just turned 20, and Chet was drafted. He was 20 when he was drafted. So yeah, he's younger. Yeah, I mean, he's turned 20 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the last draft. I mean, he's still younger than a lot of the guys that are in that class. So, yeah, you have to give the guy time. You can just see, and again, we talked about Poku in the context of it, but just like the jump that he made from being like, he may not make it to year 4 to, oh, okay, yeah, he's definitely making it to year 4. Like, maybe he could actually get another contract. That happened like that.
Yeah.
And like Josh is young enough, skilled enough. I don't know if any of you guys watch J-Dub's YouTube video that he put out there, where he was just being asked questions, and he had a friend that was just feeding him questions.
No, I did not.
He asked him about his thoughts on Josh, and he's so impressed with Josh, and like feels very blessed to be able to play with him and just say, yeah, it's like this guy's different. This guy, he's like, I've never played with a guy like this before. And so I think that we have to realize and leave room for that improvement, because like Josh right now, he's in the lab and he is trying to figure stuff out. When you look at other guys across the league in year 2, and they're getting a lot of criticism, and I think that it's like Scotty Barnes is getting a ton of criticism throughout this season and has not played well. But like, holy smokes, like, can we give these guys like a chance to get their legs underneath them?
Yeah.
This league is really hard. It's funny because like everybody acknowledges that the league is in such a great place, and the league is better than it has been in a really long time. It's like, why wouldn't it be harder for guys in their second year to like get it together? Like, if the league is that good, then it's going to be harder for guys to compete at a high level when the scouting report is out on them. Everybody knows what Josh wants to do. Everybody knows what Scotty wants to do. When Cade was playing, he wasn't shooting the ball well. There's some criticism of Cade. Even Mobley, who's like played well, and like I don't think really Mobley gets much criticism, but like the guy's not scoring at a high level this season.
No,
He's not shooting the ball at a high level. So, you know, it takes time. It takes time. I know that we kind of I feel like a lot of NBA fans and NBA podcasters and people that cover the league kind of get in their imaginations a lot about these guys and like what they can do and what they should be able to do, and like try to draw lines and like trajectories for these guys. But these are human beings that are like trying to figure things out, and it just takes time. Like this Thunder team, like it or not, is gonna take time to when they start their ascent up the second mountain. It's going to take time. Like this is you add another 19-year-old to this team this next summer. You add Chet in his first season. I know it's going to feel like the Thunder need to like get better and need to like make a big step forward, and they still might do that just because Shea is that good. Like that may happen just organically. But like everybody else is going to take time. The only thing that Josh Giddey can do to make this team a winning team is turn 23.
No, he can do a lot of things. He can not just that.
But I mean, to like be like a team that really, really wins at a high level.
Yeah.
And like a expectations in the playoffs level.
He can be at the lottery and just bring luck to OKC.
Hey, that would be another thing that you could do. That would be actually a huge thing.
Can you imagine him being there?
I can't even go
just
there.
bragging about himself, like being the reason why OKC drafted. I don't know. With that perfect and weird Australian accent, I just love it.
But like that's the thing, though. Like if you're like sitting around wondering, well, when is the Thunder going to be really good again? When does Josh Giddey turn 22 or 23?
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
hey, if it's earlier,
that might be the answer to your question. Is all I'm saying.
And if it's earlier, then it is that OKC drafted another extremely good player, and Chet Holmgren is an all-star from the beginning. If
Chet has a Blake Griffin-like ascension when he comes into the league, this will go faster than we think.
Yeah,
we'll go fast, and that is a possibility. Like that's on the table to happen.
It's unlikely still.
It's very unlikely, and it's also just a testament. It'll be a testament to Shea that he can drag these guys to somewhere where they're not supposed to be yet.
Final question: how many times do you replay in your head the Salt Lake City game of Chet Holmgren? I do it probably weekly.
It was beautiful. It's one of the more. It's like a pinch yourself situation where like, did they just draft the greatest player of all time?
Yeah, I was looking at that's that bag? That's insane.
This is like Dirk. It's like if Dirk and Kevin Garnett had a baby. You're like, what is going on here?
Yeah, basically the first 5 minutes I was like acting surprised, and then I was just giggling through the rest of the game, just laughing irrationally.
if he can become something like that, and the other thing is like the same goes for Chet. Honestly, like when are the Thunder going to be a great team again? When's Chet's 23rd birthday?
It's earlier than Giddey's.
It's earlier than Giddey's, but that would be my follow-up question to somebody who says, when are the Thunder going to be good again? When is Chet Holmgren's homegrown?
Homegrown.
I'm gonna have a hard time with that.
Why?
I don't know. When is his 23rd?
Just forget
birthday?
about the L.
May 1st, he turns 21. Watch out, world. Chet Holmgren is 21. Then give the guy 2 years. And then I'll say, okay, I think they're ready to win like real big time basketball games. But maybe it happens sooner. I don't know. Okay. Thanks so much for listening to our podcast. We'll have another show for you on Wednesday with Alex Spears. If you are just into the NBA as well, this Friday, I will be releasing on the Athletic NBA show, the Athletic NBA show Christmas special. And I would really appreciate it if all of you guys would listen to that. It's going to involve pretty much everybody that's on the Athletic NBA show. We're going to have J.E. Skeets from No Dunks on to do trivia with me and Alex. So that will be very fun. So tune in for that. Might have a special guest from like the NBA as a whole on to talk to Sam Amick. Still trying to work that out. So please tune in for that. That would mean a lot to me. Hope you guys are having a great week. And we'll talk to you guys again on Wednesday.